You believe that people should be able to violate federal immigration laws without consequences, don't you?
No, sir, I do not. I believe that anyone who violates federal or state law needs to be held accountable, and there need to be consequences.
You don't believe in cooperating with ICE, do you?
I believe in cooperating with federal authorities, as I do. A number of federal agencies I cooperate with, and I certainly would cooperate with ICE if they would cooperate with me.
Okay. You were elected in 2018, Sheriff, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. On April 18, 2018, you gave an interview with a media organization called Indie Week. Do you remember that?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to America Wake. I'm Wilson. That was a heated exchange, and honestly, it gets right to the heart of one of the biggest issues facing America today: public safety and immigration enforcement. What stood out to me was that Senator John Kennedy came prepared. He wasn't speaking in general terms. He brought specific quotes, specific interviews, and a specific case to back up his questions. Whether you agree with him or not, Kennedy clearly wanted answers. The big question throughout this hearing was simple. If someone is in the country illegally and has a serious criminal record, should local law enforcement do everything possible to help federal authorities remove that person from the community? That's what we're breaking down today. Before we get started, make sure to like this video, subscribe to America Wake, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates.
Sheriff, you're Sheriff of Durham County.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful parish. Or we call our counties parishes, beautiful county. Is it at least part of your job to protect the public?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You believe that vetting people at the border is racist, do you not?
I'm sorry?
You believe that vetting people at the border is racist, do you not?
No, I've never said that. I believe that having secure borders is important, and we have processes that allow individuals to come into the country the right way, absolutely.
You believe that people should be able to violate federal immigration laws without consequences, don't you?
No, sir, I do not. I believe that anyone who violates federal or state law needs to be held accountable, and there need to be consequences.
You don't believe in cooperating with ICE, do you?
I believe in cooperating with federal authorities, as I do. A number of federal agencies I cooperate with, and I certainly would cooperate with ICE if they would cooperate with me.
Okay. You were elected in 2018, Sheriff, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. On April 18, 2018, you gave an interview with a media organization called Indie Week. Do you remember that?
I'm familiar with the paper, yes.
Okay. Here's what you said. I'm quoting you, your words, not mine. I disagree with the incumbent sheriffs, that's the guy you beat, with the incumbent sheriff's cooperation with ICE. I will make a clear and uncompromising commitment to not cooperate with ICE. As sheriff, I will not honor ICE detainers, and we will not participate in ICE roundups, end quote. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In April of last year, you spoke to a group of ICE employees. Do you remember that?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, well, there was an article in a media organization, a media entity called the Assembly. Are you familiar with them? Do you remember?
I've heard of the assembly, yes, sir.
Yeah, do you remember giving them an interview?
I give several interviews.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually don't remember that particular one, but I'm.
Okay. Well, here's what you said in the interview, apparently on the record. These ICE employees that you spoke to, you were referencing them, and you said, quote, they, these ICE officials, asked me, so Sheriff, if someone is about to be released from your jail and the detainer is about to expire, you will call us and let us know? What was my answer? You said, no, because that's not what the law says. No, I will not call ICE. End quote. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And, sir, Senator, that was before the new law, which is now House Bill 318, which requires me to make that second phone call.
Right. Yeah.
Prior to that, it was not state law, which I follow and all my deputies follow.
Sure.
And so now we do make that second phone call. But ICE agents are notified whenever someone is entered processed into my jail.
Do you need some water? Because I think your pants are on fire.
Okay.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Carlos Heriberto Mendoza Martinez?
Not right off, sir, no.
Okay. Sheriff, you should. He was in our country illegally from Mexico. He was in a street gang. Back in Mexico, he was convicted of manslaughter. And he was in your jail. And because in 2021 and 2024, Mr. Martinez was arrested for assaulting a woman and domestic violence. And ICE placed a detainer on this guy because he was in our country illegally. And he was a criminal. And he was in your jail. And you wouldn't honor that detainer, would you?
I can't say that I did not honor the detainer.
I can.
I can say what I did honor was the conditions of the release that were issued by a judge. And so, therefore, and once again, ICE was notified that they could come pick up this individual.
Do you really believe in public safety?
Yes, sir, I do.
You would allow someone in our country, illegally, convicted of manslaughter, convicted of domestic violence, in your jail. ICE says, please hold him when his time is up. We want to get this criminal out of our country. And you said no.
ICE was notified that they could come pick up the individual, and for some reason they did not. And the judge issued the conditions of release. I am a custodian. I do not determine who is released or held. I follow the court's order.
Sheriff, I don't mean any disrespect, but you ought to be ashamed of that. How can you possibly be for public safety if you hate our immigration laws so much that you would let a convicted murderer back on the street? Do you really hate immigration laws that much?
Senator, it's not a matter of that I hate immigration law.
You could have fooled me, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your service. You're now in charge. I got to go vote.
Let's dive in. After watching the full hearing, my biggest takeaway is that Senator Kennedy was focused on accountability. Right from the start, Kennedy got Sheriff Clarence Birkhead to agree that one of his primary responsibilities is protecting the public. That became the foundation for everything that followed. Kennedy then pointed to past statements where Birkhead openly opposed cooperating with ICE. These weren't rumors or allegations. They were the sheriff's own words from previous interviews. When Birkhead confirmed those statements, Kennedy immediately began questioning whether those views were consistent with a commitment to public safety. In my view, that's a fair question for a senator to ask during an oversight hearing. The most powerful part of the exchange involved the case of Carlos Heriberto Mendoza Martinez. Kennedy highlighted that the individual was reportedly in the country illegally, had a manslaughter conviction in Mexico, and later faced domestic violence charges in the United States. Kennedy's argument was straightforward. If ICE wanted custody of someone with that background, why wasn't every effort made to ensure federal authorities could take over? Sheriff Birkhead defended his actions by saying he followed court orders and notified ICE. He repeatedly stressed that judges decide who gets released and that he does not have the authority to hold people beyond what the law allows. That's an important point. But Kennedy was looking at the issue from a different angle. He wasn't just asking what the law required. He was asking what should be done to maximize public safety. I think that's why this exchange resonated with so many people. Most Americans expect government agencies to work together when dealing with individuals who have serious criminal histories. Another thing that stood out was how prepared Kennedy was. He had dates, quotes, interviews, and facts ready to go. Every time the discussion drifted, he brought it back to documented statements and documented actions. The sharpest moment came when Kennedy told the sheriff that he ought to be ashamed. Some people will think that was too harsh. Others will see it as justified frustration. Either way, it showed how strongly Kennedy feels about this issue. For me, the central question remains the same. Can a law enforcement official strongly oppose cooperation with ICE while also convincing the public that public safety is the top priority in cases involving serious offenders? Kennedy clearly believes the answer is no, and that was the case he spent this entire hearing trying to make. Regardless of where you stand politically, this was a revealing exchange and an important debate about immigration, law enforcement, and public safety. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did Senator Kennedy make a strong case, or do you think Sheriff Birkhead handled the situation correctly? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Wilson with America Wake, and I'll see you in the next video.